And it includes Bob Scott, is one of them, who's been very much involved in this campaign for many, many years, and several other names I could mention that you would know. If someone had told us in 1987 that we would still be working to eradicate polio in 2013, I'm not sure we would have sat through those sessions to listen and to learn about what we needed to do as district governors. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to finish this job. It's time to eradicate polio and move on. And that was part of the reason I asked the incoming governors to make a contribution, any amount, to any fund of our foundation. You know what we have to do in polio. About 3 weeks ago, Wednesday, maybe 4 weeks ago, I had the pleasure of going to the New York Stock Exchange to close the exchange with Ban Ki-moon, who was there, and he was actually the individual that had been asked to come and close the exchange, but Rotary got invited, and I thought it was important enough because he was there, he was going to close the exchange, and his relationship with Rotary, that Rotary be represented. And I had an opportunity to visit with him personally, and to mention our dear mutual friend, Chairman D.K. Lee, and it was a great thing to be there. The interesting thing about that was all of the knowledge that Ban Ki-moon has about Rotary and our polio eradication efforts. Back in May, I had the privilege of going to the World Economic Forum at the Dead Sea, the Mediterranean North Africa region. And I had an opportunity to network with a lot of people. And the thing that encouraged me was most of those people, when I gave them my card, said, "Oh, yes, you're with Rotary. Now, we know about Rotary." We don't always hear that because most of the world doesn't know about Rotary. We need to make Rotary much more visible. We need to support our foundation finish polio eradication. There's absolutely no question we've got to finish this job. We made a promise. The second letter I sent, and hopefully this will put things in perspective for you about what we have to do, not only this year, but moving forward. The second letter, I asked every one of our incoming governors to bring in at least one member to Rotary before the International Assembly. I'd love to stand here and tell you that I was able to announce at the International Assembly that we had 537 new members. But we didn't. We didn't. By the end of the year, that I had been advised of, we had only been able to bring in 59 members. Now that's 59 more than we had before. But that's sad that we only had 59 members. Does that put in perspective the difference between what we need to be doing in terms of attracting and retaining members and supporting our foundation? These are two very critical things that we as Rotarians need to do. We need to get that message, not to people like the people that are in this room and at this institute, but to the Rotarians of the world, the members of our Rotary clubs. Those are the people that need to know what we need to be doing. We need to inspire them to bring in new members to support our foundation. Can you imagine if every Rotarian, if future presidents of Rotary International were able to stand before you and say, you know, we had to throw 60,000 people out of Rotary this year because they missed one meeting. Wouldn't that be a great thing to be able to say? I don't think that's going to happen. But we need to be looking for people who will join us and make changes and make differences happen in our communities. And in that process, we need to be letting everyone know, our communities especially, what we're doing in our communities in the name of Rotary. And as I've traveled around India on past occasions, I've always been heartened to see the recognition that Rotary gets in your communities. You do a tremendous job, and I congratulate you for that. I see that in places like Canada that does an extremely good job of that. I don't see it as much in other places, such as my own country. Not certainly as much as I would like to. We need to be telling the Rotary story. We call it the family of Rotary as part of our theme this year. We talk about membership, success in attracting contributions and support for our Rotary Foundation, and getting Rotary's name in front of the public. The family of Rotary includes all of your immediate family, everyone you come in contact with, the people in your community, and it spreads to people throughout the world. And if we do a good job in promoting Rotary, in promoting our public image, people will want to join Rotary. They'll want to help us put more feet on the ground, more opportunity to attract contributions to do more good in the world. It's interesting because when I came up with these two concepts for these two letters, I had people say to me, why are you raising money and trying to promote and bring in members to Rotary International during Sakuji Tanaka's year? And my response was very simple. I said, first of all, the President is fully well aware of what I'm doing and supports my efforts, and I'm only working with my incoming class of governors. Secondly, none of us are going to become Rotarians on July 1st, 2013, or cease to be Rotarians on June 30, 2014. We're Rotarians today, and we'll be Rotarians tomorrow. So, if we happen to bring in an extra, and I had no idea we would raise $5 million, and certainly had no idea how many members we would bring in, but if we happen to increase both of those, who's the winner there? Isn't it Rotary? Isn't that what we're all about? Isn't that what we're supposed to do? Now, many of you have heard that President-elect Gary is challenging his class. We in the first class, and we will always be the first class, we in the first class sort of feel like we set a trap for them. We want them to raise more money than we did. We want them to be more successful at bringing in members than we have been this last year. Although, let me tell you, we're still working. We haven't retired. If you're not a member of the first class, you can be a member of the first class this year. We invite you to join us. But you know, the whole concept is raising the awareness of who we are and what we're about. I know that you heard, some of you may have heard Chairman DK speak the other night, that his goal is $120 million, and I think we can make that. We can make that with the effort of the members of the first class and with Gary's effort with his incoming governors and presidents. The whole concept has to trickle down to where the great disconnect is in Rotary. And that disconnect isn't with leaders in this room. It's in the clubs with the Rotarians of the world. The people in this room are very knowledgeable and very committed to Rotary. But every one of our club members is knowledgeable and committed as you are. Unfortunately, I don't believe they are. I know certainly in my own case, in my experience as I've traveled around the Rotary world, that is just not the case. So we all have our work cut out for us. It's time that we got to the point where we got our Rotarians as engaged and excited and committed to Rotary as we are. I want to tell you one other thing very quickly, and this is not for everyone. But last Monday, Jetta and I, because we love history, there are maybe many of you in the room who have as much love and affection for where we came from and Rotary history as we do. I remember sitting in the president's office when President Callaghan was there and President-elect Sakuji was there. We had members from Rotary Chicago 1 who had worked tirelessly over the years to save and preserve the home that Paul and Jean Harris had in Chicago, which is known as Cumberly Bank. There was an article in the Rotarian magazine about 3 or 4 years ago which had photographs of it and historical photographs. There were even actually Rotary International board meetings held in this home. And it's to the point, it was sold by Jean Harris after Paul Harris's death in 1947. It was owned by private individuals for many, many years. And about 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, the Rotary Club of Chicago was able to acquire it, and they've been trying to restore it as a historical home, which is integrally important to the history of Rotary. It's in the southern part of Chicago. Paul Harris is buried there, not far from the home, and we're needing to raise a total, which will include an endowed fund to maintain the property of about $5 million. Now, Jen and I believe so strongly in that last Monday we made a contribution to the Rotary Foundation and established a donor-advised fund to accept contributions to save Paul and Jean Harris's home. We will, once that money comes in, it will be given to the Paul and Jean Harris Home Foundation to restore the home to its elegance when Paul and Jean Harris lived there and to maintain the property in perpetuity. If you have an interest in Rotary's history and would like to be a part of that, we invite you to join us. We invite you to join us with money that you would not otherwise give to our foundation, such as with Polio Plus or with the Annual Programs Fund. Or many of you who may be considering an endowed fund in our Rotary Foundation. But I just wanted you to be aware of it. You'll be seeing some information on it on the website, which gets launched this week. You'll be seeing probably a letter from us inviting you to join us if you have an interest. It's going to be a very soft sell, a very personal invitation for those who love history. For those who don't, we understand that and accept that, and we'll move on. But we think it's something that needs to happen, because once that property is torn down, it will never be rebuilt. And we're the first audience actually to hear about this, because as I said, we just established this last Monday, and we think we have a great opportunity to preserve that history for Rotarians around the world. So when they come to Chicago and they come to World Headquarters, they may wish to go see the home of Paul and Jean Harris and Paul Harris's gravesite. But you know, we started a journey on July 1 to engage Rotary and change lives. We've invited each one of you personally to come along with us on that journey, to make a difference, to raise the bar, to put Rotary at the forefront. We hope that you will do that. We hope that you will take this message back to your club, back to your Rotarians, inspire them, get them to get up out of their chairs and to make a positive difference